Support for If You Lived Here comes from
The Ewan Foundation, committed to bridging cultural differences within the greater Washington, D.C. community.
And now, If You Lived Here, a WETA original series.
Hi, I'm John.
I'm Christine. We're producers at WETA and pretty much inseparable.
So true. We love living in the DMV. Finding a place to live here can be exciting and sometimes challenging.
We're going to tour 3 properties at 3 different price points.
And try to guess the listing price without going over.
And find out what it would be like
If you lived here.
Hi there.
Hey, welcome.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah,
Hello.
It's so nice to see you both. So welcome to Chevy Chase. We are standing right here at the edge between Chevy Chase DC and Chevy Chase Maryland. We're going to be touring Chevy Chase DC today.
I did not realize there was a Chevy Chase DC. I've heard of Chevy Chase Maryland. So tell me a little bit about what the differences are.
So you're absolutely right. Most people, when you tell them that you live in Chevy Chase, they automatically assume that you live in Chevy Chase, Maryland. But Chevy Chase DC people are very proud of the fact that they live in Chevy Chase DC, and they're very proud to be DC residents.
Well, ultimately, though, which one's better, DC or Maryland, Julie?
Well, you know I live in DC, so of course I'm going to say DC.
That's
That's
a fair question. I think it's fair. Well, they both have their own flavor and strong points. And I think one of the great things is this stretch down Connecticut Avenue with all these great stores and restaurants.
Yes, lots of people that move into Chevy Chase DC are coming from downtown, so they really want to have a little action. There's an independent toy store that people love. There's bread and chocolate. There's a Safeway.
Well, I can't think of a better person to show us around than you.
Let's
All right.
go. All right.
Oh, it's so welcoming.
Well, we have arrived.
Yes, so here we are in the Barnaby Woods section of Chevy Chase DC. People love this neighborhood because it's so quiet. It's really an oasis in the city. You do not even realize that you're in Washington, DC when you walk around in Barnaby Woods. This neighborhood was developed mostly in the 1930s, and it is predominantly brick colonials. Barnaby Woods is also known for having large yards, some with woods, some with streams running through.
Makes it really charming.
It is very charming, and set amongst the trees is really what makes it very special.
Well, we're gonna go take a look.
Okay,
And then
great.
afterwards, what do you say we meet back in the backyard?
In the back, yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Back there.
Here we go.
Let's go.
All right. It looks so much bigger when you're standing outside.
And then you come in here and it's not so deep. I mean, that's a great staircase for this small space. Dramatic.
It opens it up.
And very period.
Oh, and speaking of period, archway.
We love a good archway. All right, into the dining room and kitchen.
Ooh, nicely renovated and opened up.
What a nice space.
But original corner cabinet, which
Yeah.
I love that they kept.
I love those. Quite often I'll look at auctions and look at corner cabinets and I've thought, should I have one?
Should I have a corner cabinet?
I've considered
Good
that.
question.
It's a nice open space that opens up into the kitchen.
And you can see exactly where the kitchen was as far as there would have been a wall here.
Yes.
Okay. This would have been a really good sized kitchen for that
For that
time.
period, yeah.
I bet they actually had a dining table in here. A little mix of old and talk about new. I feel like this is gonna take off if we turn it on.
It's a light, it's got 2 fans. I don't know what else it does, but that's impressive.
And I'm looking at that door and I have a feeling that leads to the basement.
Let's go do it. Hello, Clarence.
Oh, what a great lower level space.
Okay, I see something incredible right behind you. Washer and dryer. I think this house gets an award for one of the most creative places for a washer and dryer I've ever seen.
You just go right down into a wet bar. So, nice butcher block countertop, nice fixtures. But the best part is that you just make a little cocktail, you come over here, and this is the most enjoyment you'll have doing laundry.
Wow, I said these people were smart with, maximizing space, but this is the first bar laundry combo we've ever seen.
It's brilliant, brilliant.
Very smart.
And speaking of space, I bet this is a half bath.
Is it because the word toilet is on the door?
Oh my gosh, did you notice
You
that?
are-
What an eye. Oh, this isn't
Hey.
a half bath, this is a full bath.
It's a full bath.
You know how you love that corner cabinet?
Yeah.
I'm gonna love this corner shower. It really works in this space.
It sure does.
Yeah.
They've been so smart with their choices.
Look at it, the lights coming in again.
I love this house.
Oh, the second full bath.
Yep.
And I am so happy that they kept the original tile on the floor and on the walls. Okay.
And what on earth?
Oh, I have never seen a tub like this.
That is so cool.
From that era. A square tub.
Yeah, that's incredible. 2 seats. I'm glad they didn't got that, take it out, and put a shower stall in it.
Yeah, but I don't think you could take that out. I mean, a cast iron tub like that, I don't think so.
Too cool. All right, bedroom number 1.
I'm guessing that this will probably be the smaller one.
Yeah.
Again, beautiful sunlight coming through.
Second bedroom.
All right, I
Oh,
would
this
say
is big.
Primary bedroom?
Yeah, this might be the primary bedroom.
Okay, smaller, but again, that same great tile. I think this is a king.
Yeah, that's a king. And then you have these big windows that overlook this gorgeous neighborhood. All right, final bedroom, bedroom number 3.
Another king-size bed.
Yeah.
With plenty of room for a dresser. So these rooms are actually bigger to me than I thought they would be.
Sure enough. All right.
Okay. Hi, Julie.
Hey, Julie.
How was it?
Let us tell you what we love about this house, starting with this area.
It's a wonderful patio. It's very, very pretty, very quiet back here. Beautiful space, but just smaller than what you might find at other houses.
Okay, well, let us tell you what we loved about this house.
Yes, I want to hear.
First, I don't think that I've ever been as crazy about a tub, especially a tub from the 30s.
Never
Isn't that so
have
cool?
I ever seen a tub like that.
I've never seen a tub that's square like
Square.
that, where you have seating on both sides.
It's good for kids. If you have 2 kids,
yeah,
it's perfect.
So there's 3 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms, 1,580 square feet. The house was built in 1937.
I am going to make a guess on this house of $950,000.
Okay.
And then was that based on your scientific formula that he's always calculating?
It's based on absolutely nothing.
Very good. I like that.
No, I do a little math. I do.
He does. You can see the wheels turning. I'm gonna do 900,000.
Okay. So the price was $995. So John is the winner.
Thank you, Chevy Chase. I love
There
you.
you go. There you go. If you're done, if you don't have any other questions here, we can move on to the second house.
Sounds
All right,
great.
sounds good.
Great.
Back in the day, they would have taken the trolley.
That's right. The trolley
that's
did used to run up here.
Yeah.
Part of what makes Chevy Chase relatively unique, it's truly one of the first commuter suburbs in the country. In the late 1880s, the development of the electric trolley made it feasible for people not only to commute downtown to work, but it also allowed for goods and services. You could order food or merchandise and it would come up on the trolley. It almost is like a early precursor to, the way people do stuff online with Amazon and everything today.
So we're right here in the heart of Lafayette Pointer Park, newly renamed after Captain George Pointer. He was a freed enslaved worker from the 18th century.
Captain George Pointer was an amazing man, and he was able to do things that, even to this day, people don't assume that African Americans can do.
First word that comes to mind is genius. He was a man out of his time. He could read, he could write. He became a learned engineer. At the age of 20, he'd commanded a fleet of riverboats. His whole life is full of amazing things.
George Pointer's great-granddaughter bought this land. When some of her children got older, she started making plots so that each child could have a space to build on. So this was home. This was their community. This was their village.
And there were, multiple generations of families living here. And that continued and thrived until the turn of the century and into the 1910s and 1920s as the white neighborhood encroached on this land. The Chevy Chase Land Company came under pressure to build a school for the white children. And that's what happened in 1928. It was taken by eminent domain.
It was just kind of disappointing that they would take it from a group that's had it almost 80 years, and they weren't given enough to move so that they could still be together, so they were scattered. They lost a lot of that family connection, that family support that they had all the time.
When I first walked on this park, I just envisioned the children running on this land free and giving hope to those slaves that we look up on this hill and see freedom.
I guess the best thing in the world that could have happened was when we finally realized the entire story and decided we're going to bring this family back together. Historic Chevy Chase came to realize this is something we really need to step up and help this family with.
It is a wonderful resource. I mean, look around, the playground, the ballpark, but you must acknowledge the untold story of how this land came to be taken from the Black families. But that's why we use the title Segregated by Design. The local Advisory Neighborhood Commission got behind the effort right away. It's not just the park, it's the recreation center that's also named for Captain Pointer. The school has been involved.
A very emotional journey for me. This park would speak for all of the displaced Black people that were removed.
The combination of having the signage put up and recognized, and then to have the changing of the name of the park to Lafayette Pointer, it's the starting place.
So welcome to the second house in Chevy Chase, DC.
Well, that wasn't far.
No, very close.
We are half a block from Lafayette Elementary School and Lafayette Pointer Park, which is really, to many people, the heart of the neighborhood. You're also only about 5 blocks from Connecticut Avenue, which has all the shops. It is a place where people that live here typically don't want to leave these few blocks.
And you speak from personal experience.
I do speak from, I'm very biased, I'll be honest, because I do live in one of those blocks. And this is a fabulous house. It was built in 1930, but the house was basically taken down and built up on top of the original foundation. So you'll see that the basement is about the size that the house was originally, but when you go through the house, you'll see how it was expanded and built up.
All right, and we'll meet you out back when we're done.
Perfect. I will see you then. Enjoy.
Okay, I think it's setting in. When she said this house was built from the ground up on a
30s foundation, but
in
1980
something. Yeah, so big dining room, nice picture window overlooking the neighborhood. Yeah,
Really
both
nice.
sides. So in the formal living room. But I see even more space.
I know, when you said open, I see a lot of open space.
Let's go check it out.
Ooh, a half bath and a super cute wallpaper.
Very much on trend.
Bright and cheery.
Great looking. Okay, speaking of great looking, into the great room.
Right, and did you feel that?
I felt the transition.
Yeah, this
Did it?
is
Like, just-
definitely the new addition.
It is. Okay, so nice family room, lots of windows.
But that's the benefit of having good-sized lots, because you can build a great addition like this and still have a lot of space outside.
Okay, wow.
Oh no, oh, it's this great new porch.
Yeah.
I love that, because I would come down, make my coffee, and then head right out to the screen porch.
Okay, so this house was redone in the 80s, so it looks like they've done a little refreshing here.
I have to give a shout out to that green aqua.
Isn't that the same color you just painted your cabinets?
I'm so glad I
Good
did, because
taste.
it looks good.
I like this kitchen.
Yeah. All right, here we go. So this would be, obviously, the original part of the home. And it really does not have that basement-y feel, because you've got 2 great windows.
And look, they put down these new floors, which are laminate, probably.
Yeah, no, really nice space.
Yeah. Smells great, too. For a
Yeah, it
lower
does
level.
not have that basement smell
Does
at
not.
all.
Does not at all.
Okay.
Into the bathroom,
Oh,
first
it's a
full bath.
Yeah, and another corner shower. See, great use of space.
Yes. Okay, Tina. Bedroom number 1. Aw, baby's room.
How cute. But
Yes.
obviously, they grow, and they can happily grow into this room.
Yes, this room
And
could be for anyone.
It's giving me a whole design thing in my head, like, I think I need to use more wallpaper.
Okay, so bedroom number 1, on to 2.
All right, so this is the primary suite. When you look at all these windows, so all that natural light coming in.
Yeah. And, you know, we've seen this before, having a sink in the bedroom. That was very period 70s
Right,
and 80s.
this would be definitely 80s. So here we have a full bath,
Yep.
and I like that blue.
Yeah, me too. On to our next bathroom, number 3.
It's really a spacious bathroom.
It sure is. Oh, look how cute this is.
Well, obviously they're using it as a child's room, and it's
Really?
super
What made you
cute.
think that?
No, I don't know. But you know, there's 3 really nice windows, and again, that view onto the street.
Is this the deja vu house? I keep on saying another great room, L-shaped.
All right, well, you know what's perfect about this is that they can't fight over. It's the same size, same layout.
True. Whoa, Tina, take a look at this.
Oh, nice space.
So using as a work area, obviously sitting area.
Oh my gosh, turn around.
Whoa!
I mean, this is perfect.
That looks like a whole library.
It does. Okay, so we've seen the entire home. I'll just have to channel John Beggany and get those wheels turning.
Get those wheels turning.
Okay, I'm starting the calculation, so I'm gonna take square
Turn those-
footage.
yep.
I'll take that and
Yep.
the number of bathrooms and
divide
then
it
the
by
number of
7.
bedrooms. Oh yeah, and then
yep.
carry the 1. Hi, Julie.
Hi.
Okay, Joy.
How did it go?
Oh, it just got better.
Isn't it nice out
This
here?
is a great outdoor space.
It's nice to have the little deck and the patio and a 2-car garage.
That could be a great mother-in-law suite out here.
Well, and it was recently changed so that people can make these into units, like an in-law
Yeah.
suite.
Cool.
Turn it into a John suite.
A John suite, I'll take
Yeah.
that.
So it is 6 bedrooms, 4.5 bathrooms, 3,415 square feet, and foundation built in 1930, rebuild late 1980s.
I know I'm gonna go at least 1.4.
Okay.
I'm just gonna go for 1.5.
Ooh, okay. Now, do you want to tell me how you come up with those numbers?
I think about the square footage from the first house of what it was and the square footage of this house. And I also think about what this house has and what this house needs. Okay. So I think, do some renovations to the bathrooms, the kitchens. I think, okay, if you added that and, start that. So that's how I came up with my number.
Okay, well, that makes sense.
I just guessed.
You just get. So the price was 1,565. So you're the winner, John. You're the closest.
Second one in a row.
I actually would have gone higher, but I thought I would just play the game smart and just go
higher?
Okay.
So are we ready for the third house?
We're ready. Shall we go through the back gate?
Sure.
All right.
You and your calculations and all
Well,
that
you're
going on.
razzle dazzle.
Well, one of the things that I appreciate in this area is the Avalon Theater. I love sitting in a theater and watching a big screen and escaping.
We go back to 1923. That's when this theater opened. It was a single-screen theater that had 1,200 seats. Until 2001, it operated continuously as a commercial theater. There used to be neighborhood theaters all over the city. And gradually, a lot of these chain theaters declared bankruptcy. They jettisoned their local theaters. And theaters like the Avalon were basically left to die. There was a lot of emotional connection with theater. A lot of people who had first dates here, went as a kid and paid 15 cents to see a movie. And people really wanted it reopened. And we started Saturday mornings with a card table out in front of that theater with hat in hand, and people would walk by and we'd tell them we were trying to raise money for the Avalon, and we'd get like $2,000 a day. We reopened in April of 2003 as a nonprofit. We like to say it has a little bit of a Cheers aspect to it. I feel like people who come here feel like they have an ownership stake. And many of them kind of do because they've supported us financially for many years. Community is kind of maybe an overused cliche, but I think it really does describe this area very well. It describes, what happened with the Avalon. I mean, it's here because the community wants it here.
If you lived here, you'd be close to Rock Creek Park. You'd be close to a great school with another small park and a wonderful playground. And you'd have Broad Branch Market, which is wonderful.
The market was built by a man named Mr. Sauer in 1919. Broad Branch Road was one of the farm roads into the city then. Farmers would drive stuff into the city on roads like this. So after the Sauers, the Bondareffs moved in, lived upstairs, and ran the market downstairs. They were called DGS's, District Grocery Stores, and they were Jewish-owned. It was a cooperative, and there were a lot of them in the city. And they all bought together and priced things together. This store, it predated Safeway or any of the other big grocery stores. This is how people shop. A local developer, Louis Bloom, bought the building, and then he asked me in 2008 to come on board as an operating partner. We made a plan. We're like, just buy everything you like to eat. It turned out that people liked what we liked, and people would say to us, if you carried this, I wouldn't have to go to Whole Foods anymore. So then we would bring that in. That's how we built it. The kids that work in the deli, they know how people like their sandwich. And everybody that has their sandwich, they have their maker also that they like. It's just super friendly. Every day, people thank us. It's kind of crazy, actually, how thankful people are to us. You know, you're often surprised that you run into friends. And sometimes people plan it. Okay, let's meet at Broad Branch.
Yeah, it's so pretty.
All right, Julie.
So welcome to the third house and to the third section of Chevy Chase, DC. So right now where we are is between Connecticut Avenue and Wisconsin. We're closer to Friendship Heights. So there's Mazda Gallery and the Chevy Chase Pavilion for shopping. The Friendship Heights Metro is nearby. And this house was built in 1989.
So from the outside, this does not look like a 1980s home.
No, not at all. It looks very much like the other houses in the area.
Sure does.
Well, this house, I think, has something for both of you. You've got beautiful skylights. You've got beautiful floors.
Oh, she knows us.
Yeah,
This one.
I've got you guys.
We'll see you on the deck.
Okay,
All
great.
right.
Let's head on up. All right.
Oh, this is lovely. How about these floors? Herringbone. You don't see this that often.
No, and it's funny because this was built in the 80s.
Yeah.
And you know how popular that herringbone pattern is today.
Yeah. You know, we say it's in the details, and just doing this, you know, beautiful touch of the herringbone all the way down the hallway with that inlay looks like $1 million. To our right, living room. Okay.
What a lovely, warm, inviting conversation room. How do you like all those adjectives?
Lovely,
warm,
warm,
inviting conversation.
It's that, and it's even more. And it's so bright, these windows.
The bay window, and I'm guessing you consider that one big bay window.
I do. And the beautiful woodwork on this mantle, so custom.
That mantle is really lovely. If I walked into a store and they showed me that marble, I don't know if I'd be jumping at it, but seeing it here.
Very 80s.
But it fits so well.
It does.
You know?
Okay, well, lovely room. And then you walk back here into this great family room. It feels great because of these sets of 3 French doors in the back, a wall of windows. Handsome home. Okay, what do you say we pop into breakfast room?
Ooh.
A nice space.
I would be happy to have breakfast, lunch, and dinner with this beautiful view.
And the kitchen.
Okay, it's been updated.
Yeah, it's light and bright, and they put in these gorgeous quartz
I do like
countertops.
these quartz
I
countertops.
love these countertops.
And that backsplash, I think that might be the original backsplash.
It's got all my favorite vegetables on it. I mean, look, it's got like asparagus, I see corn.
Right, I'd rather have a big old steak up there, but you know, that's just me.
You'd have meat on your tiles. I can see that.
Oh boy, that would be great.
That'd be something, all right.
And you know that corner stove?
Yeah.
That kind of put the theme today. We saw a corner cabinet.
We did.
saw corner showers.
Yeah.
That corner tub, and now a corner stove.
Can you say they didn't cut corners here in Chevy Chase?
Chevy Chase, DC.
Oh, I can see it now. Coming soon, Christine Louise's Meat Tiles. Well, this is where you can eat your bacon here in the dining room with the same bay window that was in the living room. It's so cohesive and knocks my socks off.
All right, so I'm curious to see what the upstairs looks
All
like.
right,
then.
let's go to it. Let's level up.
I like the moldings.
Me too.
Okay, how about we start right back here?
Okay, sounds good. All righty, into our first bedroom.
And I'm gonna guess with this size, it's gotta be the primary.
Well, and it has a fireplace.
It does have a fireplace, but this room is lovely. It's
Yeah.
very inviting.
How about the primary bath?
Ooh. Take a look at the shower.
Wow, that is huge. It's so tall. And I think white marble is timeless always.
I think it's really pretty in here.
Yeah, me too. But look up.
Oh.
Not one skylight, 2.
So double vanities, double windows, and double skylights.
You know, so nice, they did everything twice.
Yeah.
Come on.
Okay.
Bedroom number 2.
You know what I noticed? The lighting is so different in here.
Very shaded.
This would be your room then.
It's perfect, it's cozy.
Yeah, get it? The shady side.
Gotcha,
Yeah,
gotcha.
yeah.
Oh, hey, it's a Jack and Jill bathroom, Tina.
Full bath, double vanity. You know these floors, they resemble the floors in the first house.
They're the 80s version of those classic floors from the 30s. Into bedroom number 3. I love that these rooms feel so comfortable welcoming, cool in colors and tone.
All right, so this is bedroom 4.
4. And wait one darn second.
Yeah.
This is also a shady side of the house.
I thought I had this whole theory over there, but no.
Oh, right. Nice bedroom. This looks like a loft.
It does. And what a perfect spot for a skylight.
Nice skylight. And then in the back, we have...
Ooh, this makes a perfect office space.
And there's a full bath.
Wow.
So that really could be a bedroom.
Yeah, you really could have your own little suite up here.
You sure could.
Because you have this whole space back here.
All right, let's head down.
Okay.
Why don't we start here?
Okay.
Back. Hey!
Fireplace number 4.
Big space, just like the one upstairs.
Right.
With the built-ins.
All right, can you add another great room in this house?
Next room. Is this another bedroom?
There's a closet.
And what do we have over here? Ah!
Oh, it's a full bath.
A full bath. So you know what this means?
You can have a whole mother-in-law suite.
Absolutely.
Guest suite.
Yep. Let's go find Julie.
Okay.
Julie!
Hey, Julie. What did you think?
All right. What a great house. It's just a beautiful traditional home.
And I really have to say that formal living room, you just want to sit down and have company over and enjoy that space.
Right, and the fireplace.
Well, which one?
Well, yes.
Which one of
I was
the
talking
four?
about the living room, but yes, there is more than one.
And we just noticed the garage.
Yes, a one-car garage.
Which we think it looks like a cottage.
Sure.
It
and that makes
does, it
nice.
does. It matches the house.
Seems to have everything. Checks all the boxes.
It does check all the boxes. So 5 bedrooms, 5.5 bathrooms, 4,874 square feet, and built in 1989.
I'm going to give you a listing price of $2.150 million.
Okay.
2.150. Okay, you know what? I'm just gonna go with 2.2.
2.2. So 2.150 and 2.2. So the list price is 2,595.
You know, because I was playing it, so I thought I'm gonna base it on your number.
And it was smart to go up as opposed to go under.
I should have gone higher. I kind of knew that, but I was like, oh.
Now you see, as agents, what we go through, it's hard to price houses.
Julie, thanks for a great day.
Oh, this has been wonderful. Are you hungry? Should we get something to eat? There's restaurants. We can go back to Connecticut Avenue, to maybe to the Parthenon. They've got great Saganaki there.
Who doesn't like flaming cheese?
Yes, definitely sign me up.
All right, let's do it.
Flaming cheese, I'm in.
Yeah. There you go.
If you lived here, you would fall in love with Chevy Chase DC. Everybody's out on weekends and they're walking around, they're using the parks.
If you lived here, you would fall in love with shopping at Magruder's.
Chevy Chase, and it's not named for the comedian, the name comes from Cheviot Chase, which is a nod to the Scottish hilly area called Cheviot. And chase is a Scottish word for hunting ground.
If you lived here, you have great transportation, because I love using the metro.
If you live here, you get to walk your kid to school, which is great, and you get to meet these amazing people from all over the world.
To find out more about living in the Washington metro area, visit weta.org/if you lived here. Support for If You Lived Here comes from
The Ewan Foundation, committed to bridging cultural differences within the greater Washington, D.C. community.